So theorem number 3 is a very important theorem in limits involving trigonometric functions. So it states that the limit of sine x over x as x approaches 0 is equal to 1, and the limit of x over sine x as x approaches 0 is equal to 1. Dito sa theorem na to, very important na yung dalawang angle natin dito dapat pareho silang dalawa. So for example, sine 3x over 3x, saka lang siya magiging 1. Pero kapag kunwari yung nasa baba ay 2x, so hindi siya pwede. So we start with sine x to be greater than or equal to x minus 1 over 6x cubed, which is less than but equal to x. This is for all x greater than or equal to 0. And sine x is greater than or equal to x but less than or equal to x minus 1 over 6x cubed for all x less than or equal to 0. Therefore, it follows that sine x over x is greater than or equal to 1 minus 1 over 6x squared, but less than or equal to 1. This is for all x not equal to 0. But since the limit of this as x approaches 0 is just equal to 1, ganon din to, the limit of this as x approaches 0 is equal to 1. Therefore, by squeeze theorem, the limit of sine x over x is equal to 1. So let's have some examples. Let's evaluate the limit of sine 3x over x as x approaches 0. So tulad ng sabi ko kanina, dapat yung angle dito at yung angle dito same. However, in this case, 3x to, x lang to. So, anong gagawin natin? We multiply 3 over 3. So, we now have the limit of 3 sine 3x over 3x as x approaches 0. So, pwede na ba nating magamit tong part na to? Yes. So, 3 times the limit of sine 3x over 3x as x approaches 0. By theorem 3, this is equal to 1. Okay? Therefore, we have 3 times 1 equals 3. Let's evaluate the limit of tan x over 2x as x approaches 0. So in here, pwede natin siyang isulat as the limit of 1/2 tan x over x, right? As x approaches 0. So, para mailabas natin yung 1/2. So we have 1/2 times the limit of tan x over x as x approaches 0. Or that is equal to 1/2 times the limit of tan x times 1 over x as x approaches 0. Ano ba yung tan x natin? We know that this is equal to sine over cosine. So we have 1/2 times the limit of sine x over cosine x times 1 over x as x approaches 0. Observe that kapag ni-regroup natin to, magiging equal yan sa 1/2 times the limit of sine x over x times 1 over cos x as x approaches 0. Okay? Pero ano ba to? By theorem 3, this is now equal to 1. Okay? So by direct substitution, we now have 1/2 times the limit of this is 1 times 1 over cos x as x approaches 0 is equal to, okay? Kasi cos 0 is 1. Therefore, we have 1 half. So let's evaluate the limit of 2 tan of x minus 5 all over x squared minus 6x plus 5. So kailangan magkaroon tayo ng x minus 5 na angle. So anong gagawin natin? We factor this out. We now have the limit of 2 tan of x minus 5 over, ano ba yung factor nito? We have x minus 5, x minus 1. As x approaches 5. Then, alam natin yung tan x minus 5 is just equal to sine over cosine. So, we have the limit of 2 times sine x minus 5 over cosine x minus 5 all over x minus 5, x minus 1 as x approaches 5. So, by algebraic manipulation, ito magiging limit of 2 sine x minus 5 over cosine x minus 5 divided by x minus 5, x minus 1 as x approaches 5. And we know that pag nag-divide tayo ng fraction, mababaliktad lang yung reciprocal. So that becomes times 1 over x minus 5, x minus 1. Yan, nakikita nyo na ba? Meron na tayong sin x minus 5, may x minus 5 na din tayo sa baba. So we can rewrite that as 2 sine of x minus 5 over x minus 5, okay? 2 sine x minus 5, x minus 5 times 1 over cos x minus 5 multiplied to x minus 1. Or what is this now? As x approaches 5. So what is this now? We now have 2 times 1 times 1 over cos 0 is, this is 1. Okay? And then x minus 1 is 4. Okay? So we have 1, 4. Therefore, the answer is 2 times 1 times 1/4, we have 1 half. Next, let's evaluate the limit of sine 4x over sine 2x as x approaches 0. So, paano naman to? Kailangan magkaroon tayo ng 4x sa baba at 2x sa taas para magamit natin yung Theorem 3. Therefore, pwede tayong mag-multiply ng 8x over 8x. Okay? Now, we have the limit of sine 4x over sine 2x as x approaches 0. Ito ngayon, pwede ko siyang paghiwalayin as 2x over 4x times 4 over 2. Okay? Bakit ko ginawa yon? Kasi gusto ko ma-partner ito dito at ito ma-partner doon para magamit ko yung Theorem 3. So, pwede na nating ilabas si 4 over 2. So, we have 2 times the limit of sine 4x over 4x times 2x over sine 2x as x approaches 0. And we know by Theorem 3 that this is equal to 1. This is also equal to 1. So, we have 2 times 1 times 1 equals 2. Okay, so in this case, we want to find the limit of x plus 2 over sine of x squared minus 4 as x approaches negative 2. So again, kailangan mapalabas natin to. Therefore, we multiply x minus 2. Okay? Kasi alam natin na ito yung factors nito. itong dalawang to. Okay? So we now have the limit of x squared minus 4, okay, over sine of x squared minus 4 times 1 over x minus 2. Hiniwalay ko na yung x minus 2 sa baba as x approaches negative 2. So that is now equal to, okay, by direct substitution, alam natin this is equal to 1 times 1 over negative 2 minus 2, or that is 1 over negative 4, or negative of 1/4.